You are Locked On Bulldogs, your daily podcast on the Georgia Bulldogs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello and welcome to Locked On Bulldogs. This is Clint here at the Locked On Bulldogs. Daniel is otherwise occupied. It's the off season for somebody, not for me, however. If this is your first time on Locked On Bulldogs, glad to have you with us. If Daniel is here, we would talk about how there's no such thing as a guru or insider whatsoever. Gurus and insiders are behind a paywall, and they know just as much, if not less, than all of us, especially when it pertains to Georgia football, because that place is locked down tight. This is a podcast for fans by fans. Daniel and I usually banter back and forth because we're fans of UGA. That's all we are. Nothing but fans all the time. Coming off a national championship win, we have lots to discuss this offseason. Lots of big news this week we're going to hit. Today's episode, thanks for making us a first listen. We're going to talk about two hires that have just been made at UGA. Well, one really. We're going to talk about Mr. McClendon coming on back because I think this has huge ripples effects. And then we're also going to talk about, yes, run the damn ball, Bobo, coming back, which I think also has ripple effects that are massive all the way across. I don't think I was on this podcast last week talking about one of the fears that I have for this offseason is how do you go ahead and fill these places, these staff positions, these people that have gone off left, how do you fill them back in with quality people? And it looks like Kirby Smart is doing just that to the tune of chef kiss, perfect hires. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. We're going to talk about McClendon coming back, what he has done, what he brings, and in the future in the last segment of UGA's staff going forward and what it means for the SEC and recruiting as a conglomerate, because I'll tell you what, right now, we now have on our staff the king recruiter and then three under him that should not be dismissed because they are incredible. If you're listening to us on podcast, glad you are there on Stitcher or whatever you listen to on Apple Podcasts, wherever it is that you listen and download a podcast. Thank you for doing so. Subscribe, leave us a 5-star rating and review. If you're here with us on the YouTube, how y'all doing? Daniel's usually on this side of the screen looking at me oddly. Glad you're here. Hit that subscribe notification. Hit that bell. Let us know that you were there by hitting down in the comments what is going on. But today, big news coming out that Mr. McClendon is coming home after treks at South Carolina, Miami, and Oregon. McClendon is coming on back. And this is huge get for UGA. Just lost wide receiver coach. And with that, potentially the relationship with one Burton and wide receiver, why he went ahead and transferred and got on out of there, which, by the way, really quick, again, huge miss lane on a tandem pair of Burton and JT. And you got none of them except you got Dart from USC coming in. I suppose that's some sort of prize for you. JT yet to announce where he is transferring to. Burton out of UGA, going on over to Bama. And we're going to talk about why this is such a big deal for UGA to get McClendon back with us. He was interim coach when we were looking for Kirby Smart after Mark Rick had left. That's what I was trying to say there. And we are glad to have him back as wide receivers coach at UGA. And I'm going to start with what he has done already for UGA. And many of us know, if you're a damn good dog, you know what this man has done. But let me just remind you, if we may, Crowell, recruited by one McClendon, Keith Marshall, Lorenzo Carter, Sony Michel, Nick Chubb. Holy jeez. Let me stop for a moment. I'm going to keep going on a few other names, but let me just say, Crowell, who, okay, hey, admittedly, career at Georgia, whatever, but consensus, number one out of the state, number one in position group, highest ranked recruit coming into college that ever been there. Keith Marshall, which we know the skill that he had, incredible speed, had a quick run over with, I believe, the once named, now known as Washington football team. Lorenzo Carter, hello, talk about a freak, talk about a guy who just plays hair on fire on defense. Sony Michel. Hey, by the way, Sony, congrats on getting that Super Bowl again, brother. Congrats to the damn good dogs on the Rams. So happy, Matt Stafford. Much appreciated. Sony, go get you some as well as on the other side of the ball. We got dogs for days in the Super Bowl, guys. It's going to be a wild ride. We'll talk about that here in a moment. Nick Chubb, Daniel's all-time favorite UGA player, not best, but all-time favorite, Nick Chubb, who, by the way, I think we got another one in Branson Robinson coming in. This is what he brings to the table. Now, I can go through, I could add DeAndre Walker. I can add where he was at South Carolina, who he brought in there, had their quarterback, Helinski, recruited by McClendon as well. But I just want to let you know somebody that he recruited, that he saw the foresight, that he had the wherewithal to get in, and then something changed when he got on campus. So McClendon's greatest claim to fame is that he is already on these guys. He has such a tight recruiting circle. He knows every single coach at high school level down in Georgia, but also what he's able to do. He was on the recruiting trail of one Tae Crowder. Now, why do I bring that up? Tae Crowder was kind of this all-purpose. He was running back, wide receiver, catching the ball, running back, all of a sudden transitions over to defense, goes ahead and makes himself a career with the Giants, already being drafted and over there. McClendon was on that cat too, bringing him into Georgia. Okay? Like, when we say he's coming home, what we mean to say is that he is now going to recruit for the university in whose backyard he was already in, and taking recruits out and bringing them to the likes of Miami and elsewhere, to South Carolina, or all these places. And all of a sudden, we get him back in the fold. This was an upgrade. I know we lost some people personnel-wise, but it's been reported for a while. This is an ascension on the coaching staff. This isn't a downgrade. This isn't like, a lateral move. This is a home run all the way across. The band is back together again on the UGA staff, and it's incredible to see. We love every single moment of it. I'm going to come back and let you know the future of what McClendon brings into this recruiting staff now, how he's going to get back into it, and then talk about the global perspective of the recruiting coaches that we have at UGA, and just what the power three. I'm going to say three, but there's really four because of King Kirby. But first, want to know about Get Upside. Get Upside is this fantastic app that you go ahead and download right now to your phone, and you use it at the pump. You go to the pump, you use the Get Upside app every single time you fill up with gasoline. And as you're doing so, you're going to get 25 cents off per gallon of gas when you do so. Get Upside app is in the iOS store. It's in the Android store. You use it when you fill up. And right now, use the promo code SCORE, and you're going to get an extra 25 cents off per gallon of gasoline when you fill up. Boat, RV, tractors, I don't know, whatever y'all have that need gas. Every time you fill up, use the Get Upside app, and it's going to give you 25% or 25 cents off every single gallon. But first time fill up with the promo code SCORE, get 50 cents off each gallon that you use when you use the app Get Upside right now. Some people are saying they're saving $200, $300 a month with the Get Upside app, especially when you use the promo code SCORE to get an extra 25 cents off the first fill up you have. That is Get Upside. All right, so McClendon back in the fold, and we go ahead and look now towards who the heck UGA is getting in this cat coming back home. He hits the ground running right away. Kirby is the best recruiter in the SEC. Let me say one more time, because if you look at these ranking systems online, if you go to them and you say to yourself, hey, I really want to know who the best recruiter is, who the best, who on staffs are getting these kids to come in and play. And all of a sudden you go down these lists and they don't have the head coach most of the time. They're position coaches. They're recruiting centered focus. But I dare say this is a huge miss from all these recruiting sites, because King Kirby is the best recruiter in the SEC. He's the best recruiter in the nation. Dan Lanning all of a sudden goes to Oregon. It's kind of weird. They rank him up there, but King Kirby is the best recruiter because he lands in that helicopter going around to every single high school in all the land. He is that Simba moment where he just looks out and he says, this is my state. I'm going to own it. I'm going to dip into other states. I'm going to come across every single territory that I know and get them. But as far as the SEC, when you go down the recruiter ranking lists, it doesn't have head coaches, which is a crying shame because Kirby is number one. Okay, so let that be known. Number 2 right now on a lot of these sites, I'm using 24/7 right now. Their recruiter ranking lists Jamil Ade as the number 2. All right, so we got a cat coming in, defensive back coach, who wasn't on the staff last year or 2 years ago, is now brings over with him some talent already. We're seeing this already prove dividends. Tyke Smith in the backfield of the secondary, already going to stay for his super senior year or COVID. I don't know how that's going to play out, what year he gets used, but injury took him last year, but now he comes back this year. He's got a defensive back coach that played or coached incredibly well at West Virginia. This is a huge get. So that's number 2 on the list already. All right, so we got number 1 recruit, King Kirby. Number 2 already in the fold. And then what we hit this lull. Well, all of a sudden we hit Alabama, Ohio State's, Dan Lanning's there. We get a couple of down. And the next time we see a Georgia recruiter ranking is down at 18 with Del McGee. Now, here's why I think that's a little short-sighted too. You and I we could fight all day about that. But if Del McGee is the 18th best recruiter in the entire nation, you have a bad list. He is not. He is top 15 minimum, 10 more than likely. 18 is too far out. But then you keep going down the list, and all of a sudden you realize too that we have somebody who is a very, very underrated recruiter. And this is a guy that's just like Kirby, is somebody who has head coaching experience. Kirby's the best recruiter. Matt Luke. If you watch him on the sideline, this Georgia staff is chock full of people that the players love being around. Love being around, love joking with, love having a good time. Matt Luke is that for the offensive hog mollies over there. They love it over there. They're growing mullets. They are doing all sorts of weird stuff on that offensive line. He's a head coach that knows the system, is in Georgia, having a great time by all appearances, loves being a position coach. And he's in the top quarter of recruiters in the entire nation. Now, all of a sudden you add, I'm going to jump out and say immediately he brings, especially at Georgia, especially with the Power G, especially with the red and black. I don't see how you can look at McClendon and say to yourself, he's not a top 20 recruiter instantaneously with what he has at his disposal right now. I don't see how you could say that. I think not only that, but I think as a developer, I think as a couple of recruits have already said, they've responded in this 2023 cycle, said, oh, he's going home. Is he? He's at Georgia now. Is he? Okay. And all of a sudden, eyes and ears start turning to Georgia. And if memory serves me right, one of the things that we were worried about as Burton leaves us and we're like, oh no, Jorge's gone. George Pickens is who we call Jorge. Oh no, he's gone. How are we going to replenish? How are we going to restock? That's how you restock. Right there is how you restock. This is better than a transfer portal hit because this cat knows how to develop people. This guy knows how to get them in the best positions. He knows how to tell kids that the Power G is where I wanted to be all along because I gave up probably people are going to see a lateral move from my previous position all the way over here. And I'm doing it because it's actually an upgrade to me, is what he gets to say. Bryan gets to say, no, this is not just a lateral move. This is an upgrade for me. And I couldn't be more excited about it because this is a transfer portal hit right here. Like, this is as good as an impact transfer wide receiver. I promise you, because it's going to mean right now that we have people coming in today are looking and saying, oh no, how do I make sure that I'm on this guy's radar? How do I make sure that Bryan knows I'm out here? I want to come play for Georgia. And he's already talking to them. He already knows. The news is getting out there. We're going to come back after this, talk about how that cycle is going to look and how he fits into that. But first, I want to let you know about Built Bar. Built Bar is the tastiest protein bar on planet Earth. How do I know? I've tasted every last one of them. And I'm not kidding you when I say every last one of them. They're fantastic. They are high in protein. They are low in sugar. They are low in everything bad, high in everything good, high fiber, high dietary nutritional value. It's keto approved. They have fantastic flavors all the way through, fruit flavors, chocolate flavors. New flavors seasonally. Go to BuiltBar.com right now. Put in the promo code LOCKEDON15 for 15% off your entire order. That's right, 15% off your entire order of BuiltBar.com right now. And they're going to come straight to your door. It's a meal replacement. It's pre-workout, post-workout. It's during workout. It's on the go. Wherever you need it, Built Bar is there for you. Head over right now to BuiltBar.com. Let them know we sent you by putting the promo code LOCKEDON15 for 15% of your entire order. 1 box, 2 box, 10 boxes, 25 boxes, whatever it is, 15% off with LOCKEDON15 at BuiltBar.com. All right. So this cycle that Bryan's bringing in, what does it mean? What does it mean for us in this next cycle? And here's what I think it automatically means right off the bat. I think when you bring in a guy like McClendon, when he comes into the system, now, granted, he has recruited an incredible stable of running backs so far. Like that is, again, Nick Chubb, Crowell, all these cats. He's done that really well. He's brought in Tae Crowder, who was an offensive guy, went over to defense. We coached him up. We got him into the NFL. But what he does incredibly and insanely well is this means for the 2023 cycle, you put one of your best recruiters, in-state talent, and you send him on what, again, many UGA fans are calling position of need. I don't call it a position of need because, again, we have the Oscar Delps, the Brock Bowers, the Darnell Washingtons, the Eric Gilberts. We have those pass catchers. But if you want to talk specifically wide receivers, what this means is that in the fold, the Todd Monken, the Matt Lukes, the Bryans, the Dells, all of a sudden we have an offensive philosophy that are full of alpha dudes. I just listed guys that could walk into any room and people are like, yes, let's follow that guy. We have all of them. They're all working together. They all want to work together. They all want to collaborate together because they know Todd Monken's got the brains. We got all the kids. We're bringing them all in. I don't anticipate Todd Monken being that guy. I envision him being the last one to the elevator as he is trying to get down to celebrate with the team. I don't imagine him sprinting the first one down there and hooping and hollering. Monk and Bobo, who we'll get to later on this week, probably Wednesday, we'll get to Bobo and what that hire means. All of a sudden, we're looking at him being able to sit in recruits' homes and not only say the Power G is legit. I love it here. Let me transition. Let me come over from a lateral position and let me be here because it's better here. That's one. Two, let's think for a moment. Before it was let me sell running backs in the state on a run first offense. And Georgia fan, do not get me wrong. I love our power running game and we will always have it because King Kirby is still coaching. He knows trenches is how you win. Watch the national championship game. Watch the death march. So that's still there. But what he's also going to say is, hey, I came back because I saw Monk. I saw the offense. I saw us win with Stetson, who's a damn good dog. We know what is required of us. We know points are where we're going to go. We know to get creative. We see talent, i.e. Brock. We see talent, i.e. George Pickens. We play guys early, i.e. A.D. Mitchell. And now I'm here to let you know. I'm going to speak the language you do and get the best dang wide receiver groups that we've ever seen. Georgia fan, get ready for you to mark it down. The next recruiting cycle, if not 1 in 2 recruiting cycles, we will have the best wide receiver crop we have ever had. Mark it down. Make a bet on it. Because we have the offense, we have the guys, we have all the assembled that Kirby's making over there. And he is saying, go have fun. You know, you have your marching orders, go. And now McClendon gets to come in and say, I've been coaching with these guys, film-wise, development-wise, schematically, X's and O's, on-field production. In the quarterback room, I trust our quarterbacks to get you the ball. I know what's going to happen. Running backs are still going to want to come because they want the death march because they know that James Cook is going to go get highly drafted. They know that Zamir White's going to get highly drafted, and they're going to have successful careers. The game has changed. It's not just let me be primary guy. If you want that, go be somewhere else. If you want a guy to compete and play with people that can develop you, Now you're talking something with a natty and development and talent. We have it all now. And McClendon embodies that in totality. So glad he's here. So glad he's back. Could not be more excited for him to be here. Hey, this has been Locked On Bulldogs here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We will see you on Wednesday where we'll talk about Mike Bobo and what that means for offense, because I actually, dare I say, I just talked to this whole episode of how incredible it is to have McClendon back. Dare I say that Bobo might be as important? And you're all yelling at me, but I'm going to tell you why on Wednesday. Be back then. Follow us on Twitter. Email us. Let us know. This has been Locked On Bulldogs. We'll talk to you guys later.